Please go ahead. Is there a program that you can name that you personally would be willing to see money cut from?
Well, yeah, there are lots of programs, but the point is, I'm not going to negotiate against the Republican Party on CNN. The only thing that we're asking for today is for President Biden to be responsible, sensible, and reasonable, and being willing to come to the table and negotiate. You know, it's remarkable. MJ, your reporter, she's great. She highlighted how President Biden's spending his time taking jabs at Kevin McCarthy. How is Kevin McCarthy spending his time today? He's getting together with his Republican team to talk about how do we try to bend these curves away from $32 trillion in debt.
Our Manu Raju is reporting that defense budget cuts are also on the table. Can you name a defense weapons system or program that you'd be willing to cut money from?
If we honestly think that out of $800 or $900 billion in defense spending a year, that there isn't anything that can be cut, I would just tell you, I think we got to be willing to roll up our sleeves. But I get what your goal is here today. Your goal is to try to get Republicans to negotiate against themselves and to try to identify programs.
My goal is to find out what your positions are when you're going into a budget negotiation. Presumably, you have some programs in mind that you'd be willing to cut. So I'm asking the questions. Can you name a defense program you'd be willing to cut from?
Step one is to actually have the President of the United States be willing to have this negotiation. I mean, why in the world would Republicans, when the president has the statutory obligation to bring his budget forward first, why would we bring forth all of these admittedly difficult to discuss cuts? Let the president off the hook. He has shown a total unwillingness to be the leader of the free world and engaging in these conversations.
The debt ceiling is about budgets already passed. And I should note that when Republican presidents were in office, George W. Bush and Trump, Democrats did not push the country to the brink. And by the way, Republicans did not push their own Republican president to the brink on the debt ceiling. Although I should note for our viewers, you voted against raising the debt ceiling yourself, but the Republican leadership did not. Why that difference? Why push this president but not Trump?
I love this revisionist history. Here are the facts for your viewers. After 8 years of Republican control in the House, discretionary spending was lower at the end of that 8 years than it was at the beginning. So why didn't Republicans go to the brink? It was because they had Republican presidents who were willing to work with them on some of these much-needed spending cuts, rather than a Joe Biden who says he refuses to negotiate.